My childhood ended at 12 and a half because that's when the little girl in me finally snapped. I've shared some of the abuses in parts 1 and 2, but there were very many abuses, not just physical, but emotional and mental. My mother had multiple personality disorder, schizophrenic, but she was deeply narcissistic. And instead of telling you every story, I'm just going to tell you one of the many that just piled on that finally made the dam crack. For months, I had a cough that wouldn't go away. It was so bad. I continued to go to school. I continued to dance the way my mother wanted me to for hours with my brother. We took dance lessons that lasted for hours every day. And of course, a cough gets bad at night, and I couldn't sleep because of it. And as I would cough, my mother would shout out from the next room, "Shut up and stop coughing." She wouldn't come in and nurture me. That's what her words were, and she meant it. So I would bury my head in the pillow and I would try to cough silently, but I couldn't because the cough was so bad. It was so bad that I broke a blood vessel in my eye. Finally, my stepdad stepped in, and he rarely did because he was disabled. My mother worked and he stayed at home. But he took me to Dr. Larson, and the doctor listened to my chest and said that I wasn't sick. He said that I had an allergy, and he said it was probably to some kind of aerosol. And I remember looking at my stepdad, and my mother used hairspray like we breathe oxygen to make her beehive stand up. And I remember thinking that it wasn't my fault. It wasn't my body betraying me. And someone finally believed me. And that was the first, maybe the first crack in the dam. Maybe there was many before that. Maybe that was just one of the first ones that I remember. And it wasn't just the sickness. And her mood set the weather for the house. We all lived inside of her storms. We all tried to be perfect for her. But abuse and narcissism, it's a bottomless pit. No amount of love can fill it. By the time I was 12, I was holding secrets that no child should carry. And they were horrible secrets, terrible. I was terrified for my stepdad, for my brother. I was terrified of her. And I was also terrified of myself because something inside of me was changing. You can only survive gaslighting, humiliation, and fear and violence before something breaks. And one day I broke. It wasn't a loud break. It wasn't even a dramatic moment. It was just quiet. It was like a switch flipped. A dam just cracked. And the fear that held me frozen for years just drained out of me. And she didn't know it yet, but the last day that she could control me was coming. And when she made good on that promise and packed my bag and dropped me off, and I didn't cry, didn't beg, and didn't chase the car, I stood there on that curb shaking, realizing something that I had never known before. I'm still alive. I'm still here. And I'm free. Yeah, I didn't know where I was going to sleep. I didn't know where I was going to get my next meal, and I didn't know what was going to happen tomorrow. But for the first time in my entire childhood, I could breathe. It wasn't a deep breath. I didn't feel like complete safety, but it was enough. Enough to walk into Susan and Bev's door, enough to step into a home where the air wasn't poisoned with fear, enough to feel, maybe for the very first time, what safety might be. But little did I know that the battle wasn't over, because a few weeks later, The police showed up at Beth's door. The lights were blaring outside, the police knocking at the door, my stomach dropping. My mother had reported me as a runaway. Yeah. And that night, I had to stand before a judge and tell the truth about the home that I had just escaped. This is Saved at 18. Please come back for part 4.